Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Tech Data Engineer. So today we will see version control system Git. Okay, why we are using Git and there are various command also. So Git have various commands. We will see that. Okay. So Git is basically a distributed version control system designed to track changes in source code during software development. Okay, so what is Git basically? So there is a software development going on and there are a lot many developers which is working for one of the repository. So repository is something where we are keeping our source code and readme file, different file folder requirement and all, and our source code, test file and everything. So that is called Git repo. So why we are using Git basically? So if there is a development going on for some particular repository, there is a functions called xyz and there is a function called abc. Different developers are working on that. So some developer worked on some of the feature and then they they committed their task to the their feature branch, and then they raise a PR for like merging for main branch, either development or you can say main branch. So similar to that, like which particular developer worked on which particular feature at what date, and whatever the commit at what date they have done the commit to the Git repo. So for tracking all this development process, we are using some of the version control system that is called Git. So they have lot many command to create the local repository, to pull the you can say changes from source file to destination file, like development file to local file. So lot many changes. So we have to do rebase, we can merge. So different command we will see also how we are if we have already Git repo, how we are bringing that code to our local system, so that we will see all these things. So Git is nothing but it's a version control system designed to track change in source code during software development. Okay, so it helps. So why we are using basically, it helps team of developer collaborate efficiently by providing tools to manage and synchronize code changes. So whatever the code changes we are doing, the multiple persons are doing code changes, so we can track like for which features which particular persons have worked on the which particular feature and all, and what date they worked on that. Okay, so this basically providing tools to manage and synchronize code changes, so handle different version control code and track the project history. So if you have a project and in project you have multiple repository and multiple repository for some functionality, different persons are working. So tracking all these things, we are using the Git. It's like a version control system. Okay, so what is the benefit of Git? So there are lot many benefits of key features of Git. First is the distributed version control. Second is the branching and merging. Third is the commit history. Fourth is the collaboration, data integrity, efficiency, staging area. So these all are the key feature. We will see why what is this distributed version control. Okay, so distributed version control is like it's unlike a centralized version control system. Git is distributed. Each developer has a complete copy of the repo. So suppose there is a project, and that project there is a repo. For that repo we have multiple, I can say multiple file and all. So like it's like in distributed version control, each developer have the complete copy of the repository including history also. Like they can track the history also for like whatever the existing functionality they have, which developer had worked on that and all. So it's like a distributed version control help us to track the version history. Then they have the complete copy of the repository. Okay, this setup allow for offline work and make it easier to handle multiple versions of codes also. Okay, so you can work offline and you can work on the distributed mode also. Okay, so first is that. Second is the branching and merging. So so because of Git, it's make it easier to branching and merging and easy in easy and efficient way. Like suppose there is a development branch where multiple developers have worked on that. So if you want to cut the branch, you can cut it from the development. Some other functionality is there, so suppose some other developer wanted to work, so they can again cut the development branch, and after completing their code, they can again raise PR, like pull request for development branch. So that way it is easier by Git to branching and merging, like taking the development branch and cutting their own branch for their enhancement, or their you can say adding their own code, and then again merging to the development branch. So branching and merging is also easier in case of Git. Commit history, so Git track the change with commit. Like commit history, it's like for which particular functionality what are the developer worked. If any changes is there, suppose any configuration changes is there, or any constant changes is there in your code, so which developer have worked on that and who have done the commit for that particular, you can say either constant file or any config file, any file. So we can track that things also. Like, so Git track change with the commit. Each commit has a unique identifier and include information about what was the change. So you can if after going to the commit history, you can check all these details also. So commit history is one of the advantage of Git. Then collaboration, like Git support collaboration through various workflow such as feature branching, pull request, code review. So this is one of the I can say key feature of that. This, so this collaboration basically, if you are using this collaboration, so this is basically facilitated by the platform like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and there are some cloud based tools also, that also you can use. And then other is the data integrity. So Git ensure the integrity of your data using cryptographic hash. I think they have SHA-1, something like that, to can say to identify the commit and track the changes. So they maintain the data integrity also. So this basically makes difficult to change to be altered or corrupted without detection. So suppose today I change the things, so it will persist, so there should be data integrity on that. So that is also one of the advantage of, I can say, Git. Then other would be the efficiency. So Git is designed in such a way to handle the large scale project, so it is efficient also, like because large scale of developer can work on that. Okay. Then other is the staging area. Git has the staging area or something called index. So they have where you can prepare change before committing them. So they have a staging area, so before committing you can prepare your things and then you can do that. So this basically, so why we are doing using a staging area, because this allow you to review and organize change before they became part of project history. So because of project history, you are working on the staging area, then you can do that. Okay, so these are the key features of Git. So Git is nothing but the version control. Version control, it's like for which versions at what time particular developer is working. So tracking all this history, commit, all this feature, and at what functionality they have worked on that, any configuration, any commit, or any constant changes in your entire code, you can track all this, their versioning, you can track all their commit. So because of this we are using the Git. And so already we have seen that they have features like distributed branching, commit history, collaboration, data integrity, efficiency, and staging area. So these are all the features which is available with Git. Okay, so for basically for collaborations we are using GitHub or GitLab, or so these are the things, GitHub, GitLab, these are the things we are basically using. Okay. Okay. Then so before proceeding further, we will see some of the basic concept. So what is basically a repository? So repository in short form it is called repo. So repository is nothing, it's like a directory. It's like a directory that contains all your project file and the history of change. So for one project there might be multiple history, multiple repo, sorry. So in one project there might be, based on the requirement, you can create your Git repository. So each repository have main branch, development file, the test file, their readme file, their requirement or txt, so everything they have. Okay, So you can organize your based on your requirement, you organize your repository also. So repository is nothing, it's like a simple, you can simple layman term you can understand, like it's like a simple directory that contains all your project file and the history of change. It can be local or remote, either it is in your local system or it is in any of the servers. So that is the remote. So anywhere it is. So what is commit? Then the next term is commit. So commit is nothing but commit is a snapshot. It's like suppose I have taken branch, I have cutted a branch from development, and then I have done some of the you can say I have there is some enhancement I have to do that. So I'll cut the branch to my local and remote will be the development. So from development I'll cut to the local branch, then I'll rename a branch, then I'll check out, and then in checkout I'll do the coding, and then after coding I'll do the commit, then I'll raise the pull request to merge to the development. So that way we are doing basically. So commit is a snapshot of your repository at a given point of time. So each commit has a unique identifier and includes metadata about the change. So whatever the change we have done in the code, everything would be trackable in the commit history. Okay. What is called branch? So branch is a separate line of development. So it's like a suppose we have in your repo there might be multiple branch. One is the development branch, one is the you can say main branch or master branch, or there might be different depends. Suppose I am working on some of the features, so I can write like that xyz branch. Some person is working on some of the functionality, they can give their own name and they can work on the separate, and after working everyone have to merge to the development. So how it will get merged to the development? You have to raise a PR, pull request, it got approved, and after approval if there is no merge, if there is no complete conflict, you have to merge to your development branch, and make sure that your existing functionality should not be changed. Okay. So this is basically branch. What is merge? Merge is like a merging is the process of integrating change from one branch into other branch. So merging, what I discussed. So suppose there is a development branch, so if you have to add some functionality, what you will do, you will cut the branch from development to your local, you do your coding, you do your testing, after that you have to raise the PR, pull request, and then it get, after approval, it get merged to the you can say development branch. That is called basically merging. What is called clone? Clone is nothing, clone is the process of creating a copy of existing repository. So clone is nothing but bringing your remote file to your local system, that is called cloning. Okay. What is pull? So pull is basically pulling, retrieve change from remote repository and integrate into your local branch. So suppose you, whatever you are cutting from your development remote branch and to your local, so you have to write the pull request. Pull is basically to retrieving the whatever change is there for in remote to your local. So that's why you have to do pull. So pulling means bringing the code from remote to local, and push is opposite of that. Push is basically pushing send to your local commit to a remote repository. So whatever things you have done in your local, you have to push to your you can say you have to push to your remote branch, so that whatever change you have done, it will reflect to your you can say from where you have cutted your branch, it should reflect there. So that's why you have to do push. Okay. Then next come to fork. So fork is nothing but it's a creating copy of repository under your own account. Okay, so why we are using fork? Actually this is often used to open source project to purpose change or contribute to a project. So basically forking we are using for you can say open source project and all, basically for creating a copy we are using fork and all. Okay, so that's why we are doing. So how git works? So basically we have to do some initialization. You can start by creating git repo by git init command, then tracking the change as you worked on the project, so you can do your git commit things. Then branching for that you have to do, you have to use the git command like git branch. Okay, so for initializations we will use like git init. Then for tracking change, whatever done you have done, you can use simple command like git commit co, I mean like git commit. Then suppose you have to do some branching, so what you will do, you will use the command like git branch. Okay. Then suppose merge you have to do, you can use like git merge, git merge, git merge. So these are the command, basically you can use that. Then for collaboration is nothing but it's like a, you can use pull or push request. So there is two command, git pull and git push also. Okay, so git pull and push command you can use. So version history you can use command like git log. So git log is there, basically you can use for your version history. So for initialization you can git init, git commit for tracking change, git branch for branching, git merge for merging to the your remote. And then collaboration, either you will use git pull or git push request for that, and version history you will use git log. Okay, so we will see lot many we can say basic command also. So git init, so git init was nothing, you have to initialize a new git repository in your current directory. So by that command you can initialize a new git repository in the current directory. So simply use your git init. Okay, so git clone is nothing, create a copy of existing repo from your url. So what I already told, so there is already development branch in your github. Okay, so that github branch, suppose for some development you wanted to bring to your local machine in any id, either it's a PyCharm or VS Code or anywhere. So what you will do, you will first clone your remote code to your local branch to make some changes. So that's why we have to do git clone, and then you will pass the url. So url you can pass the github url you have to pass. Okay, if you'll pass the github url, you will bring the existing code, remote code, to your local. Git add, suppose that this basically state change for the next commit. So git add is basically to adding some file and all. So use git add, and then suppose you wanted to add some file.txt, so you'll use git add command. Okay, then git commit. So git commit is basically suppose you have already pulled your code from remote to your local, and you have done some code changes. So what you have to do, so after doing your code change, what you have to do, you have to do the git commit. So in commit you have to pass a message, like message is something like, suppose you have done some configuration changes or you have added some logic. So you can write like add logic, or added some config file or something. So whatever things you have done, you can add as a message. Okay, so that reviewer will see, okay, this is big, this is the commit for particular this region. Okay, then git status. So status is basically so the status of change in the working directory and the staging area. So whatever change happened, it will show as a git status. Okay, now git log. So basically if you wanted to display a log of commits in the current branch. So for current, suppose right now you are in your current branch. So how you have to be in current branch, so you have to do git and checkout. Git checkout means suppose git checkout and branch, suppose you are in development branch, you have to move to your new branch called feature branch. So what you have to do, git checkout, and then you have to give a feature is the branch name, so that you will go to your git feature branch. So git so now come to git difference. So this is basically to show the difference between working directory and the index. You will use basically git difference. Git branch. Okay, so list of all branches, or so whatever the branches is there. So if you type git branch in your terminal, you will see that list of all the branches. Suppose if you wanted to go to some different branch, right now I am in XYZ branch and I wanted to go to ABC branch. So what I have to do, I will do git checkout and then branch name is like where you wanted to go. I wanted to go to ABC, so I'll give git checkout and ABC. Then git merge is basically for merging. Okay, so we will write like merging the change from another branch into the current branch. So suppose if you wanted to merge something, so what I'll do, git branch, and from where I wanted to merge, so I'll write like branch name, git merge, and then branch name, then it will basically merge that. Git then now it will come to git push. Suppose after doing some commit and all, you wanted to push, so put, so that your whatever change you have done, it will reflect to your the remote branch. So it will do git push. So push is local change to remote. So basically for pushing the local to remote, you will do git push, and for taking the changes from remote to local, you will do git pull. Okay, these are the command we will use. And then git remote v. So basically it will do the list of remote repository associated with the local repository. So whatever the remote repository is there associated with the local repository, it will show all the list of that. Okay, then there are some other command also, git reset, git rm file. Rm basically if you wanted to delete some that, you can use that. Like that is basically also removing the file here using rm command. Revert command is basically made by some separate commit. If you want to do that, you will do that. So there are a lot many, git fetch, git rebase. If you want to do some rebase is basically a reapplies commit from the current branch on the top of the another branch. So if you wanted to if you want, there is some changes happening earlier, so if you wanted to rebase that, you can use git rebase branch. Okay, so we will see all these branch these are all the intermediate branch. These are the basic commit command we will use for git. So these are the most frequently used for day-to-day life. If you do some you can, if you are working on you can say any id, and also you can use directly that command. Even the consoles are available, like web consoles are available, but this is very useful. If you know all this command, you can directly use, and you don't have to navigate through the console of any id. Either if you are using pycharm or any id, you don't have to navigate through the console, you can directly use that. Okay, so for every software developer, if you are working for code change and all, so git is very important. So this is the basic requirement at least. So you should know all these things, why we are using git, what are the basic command, what are their key features and all, what are the terminology. It's like branching, repo, what is repo, what is merge, what is clone, what is pull, push, fork, what is pr, what is review and all. Also everything you should know. Then you are good to go for the development. Okay, thank you, thanks for watching.